Hi everyone, I'm Becky.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're doing Bickering book reviews. Today we are talking about That's Not What Happened by Kody Keplinger, which so we went to Book Expo and there was a luncheon that we paid for, which was super cool because all the authors were there.
Completely worth it.
And Kody Keplinger was one of the authors, so we got an arc of her book there. But I also actually downloaded it through Edelweiss just because I needed the ebook option.
See, and I loved having the physical arc.
I know I will be able to find a teen that will happily accept this.
Yeah. I don't really want to give it away, but I'm going to.
So here's a quick summary of what the book's about. 3 years ago, there was a shooting at Virgil County High School. 6 students witnessed the massacre and lived. Their stories became the truth about what happened that day, but not all the stories were correct. Now in her senior year, one survivor, Lee, is going to set the record straight. Lee needs everyone to know the truth about Sarah McHale because Sarah was her best friend and her story is a lie.
So what I found was interesting with this book is that it weaves in kind of society's current issues with what seems like has been trends going on with school shootings like throughout time. Mm-hmm. As far as you're talking about how the media is creating this message that isn't the truth. And that's not something that we would have really talked about during Columbine, but it is something that is very relevant today.
Well, and I mean, obviously it's based on, what's the book? She Said Yes.
Right, and you can totally...
Right, which I never read, but it's actually the school system I work in. It's on their summer reading list.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely see kind of that. And so I do wonder kind of what the authors of that book or the people impacted by that book, how they would feel when reading this book.
Well, and when we went to the luncheon, we were at different tables, so everybody had a different interaction with the author. But one of the things that she said at our table was that she doesn't like the fact that she feels like they turn the shooter into a celebrity. So she made the point of not putting the shooter in the story, and the shooting's not the story. Which I respect her for doing that, but I had a hard time connecting to parts of the narrative because that. And I have a hard time with school shooting books in general, but I think I would have liked this better with that because there's a part, like, that Sarah's story is told to you very slowly, but for like the first 120 pages, they're like, the thing that happened, and I found that very frustrating. I was just like, put it in the first chapter, let me know what happens, don't like to dole it out slowly.
I don't know if I agree with that, though. I don't know. Because I think I was so kind of overcome by the emotions going on that typically I can really get through books like this very quickly just because it's more action-packed and plot-driven. However, I think she really kind of is able to dig into the emotions. And maybe the characters were a little bit flatter, but emotionally, I think she got it more than I've ever seen in other books like this.
See, and my thing is, Lee has every character write a letter about what they experienced, and I thought those letters were beautifully done.
Yeah, they were.
And I thought that was emotional, and like I was like, that feels very real. And then there are parts where people are describing kind of giving you almost like a little bit of a biography insight to the students who were killed.
That I really liked.
That was beautifully done. I never connected with Lee's narrative. And that is like 70% of the book. Like, to me, Lee never felt real. Her emotions never really came out. And maybe it's because she's supposed to be writing this letter of things that she's dealing with, but I just never connected with her. And so to me, like, the other letters and the backgrounds on the other characters were so incredibly well done that the Lee's parts felt even worse.
So yeah, Lee, I felt like she did fall flat. She just felt more like a driving force as opposed to an actual character. However, for me, it kind of was okay because all of the other characters were so well done and well developed. I mean, I loved all of them. I loved all of the other survivors that she interacts with. I thought it was very interesting. And actually, I'm kind of obsessed with trying to find out. I almost want to tweet at Kody Keplinger and ask her, like, what part did she write first? Like, I really kind of want to know, like, where the genesis of this writing started. Because, like, it would be so interesting to know, like, if one of the letters was something that she first wrote or what. Like, I'd really like to know where this started, because it is really well done and and it's done in a way that I haven't seen before.
Well, and I will say I read somewhere that she had just read the book about Columbine, and that's where the idea came from. And we should wrap this up soon, but I did have the thought when I was reading it, because I've read like everything she wrote. I haven't read her middle grade book, and I loved The Duff, and I want to say it's called Shut Out, and I think it was called Midsummer Nightmare, and I kind of wonder if I have a problem, like when her narrative isn't built around a romance, or that even those like kind of like sexual interactions, if I don't feel like the way she writes, if I don't connect with that.
And maybe that's entirely possible.
And that's possible because I didn't love Run, which wasn't about that.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
And like I said, I enjoyed this. And the thing is, if you think about it, because like in those other books, it's so much about the personal relationships and the personal interactions, that the part of this book that I really enjoyed was about that. So maybe she's better about, for me at least, writing those connections more than just the general narrative.
And I think that's true even in this case, because you're right. It was the connections that really came across and not really the narrative, because it's Lee who's forcing the narrative. It's not.
And I wasn't a fan.
It's not organically coming together.
So we should just rate it.
All right, let's go for it.
So our system starts at the top with 5 unicorns. We go down to 2 unicorns. If we didn't like it, it's a horse. Where are you?
I'm at 4 unicorns. I really like this book. I think it's one of the better books about a school shooting. I think it ties in a lot of current issues. And then also, I mean, we didn't really talk about this, but the main character is asexual.
That
and
is
you don't
true.
see a lot of books with an asexual main character. You're seeing it more recently.
Right.
But it's still very new.
And I also liked the fact that it was an asexual character who was still interested in possibly having a romantic, relationship. Because a lot of people feel that like asexual people are never going to get married, they're never going to have that romance, and I liked that she did that. For me, it was a 3 because, like I said, I thought that the letters and the backgrounds on the people who were killed was so beautifully done, but the narrative to me just did not work. So I kind of even it out to a 3.
Okay, cool.
And that is where we are on That Is Not What Happened by Kody Keplinger.
All right, see ya.
Bye.